Glenburn Community Church, erected in 1885 on farmland donated by George M. Rock. The Burgettville Christian Church served both the towns of Burgettville, which extended 2 miles to the east, and Swayze, later called Glenburn, which was west of the church.
Established by Samuel Lockhart in 1856 as a link in the first wagon road from Wairika to Red Bluff, the Lockhart Ferry crossed below the confluence of the Fall and Pitt Rivers near this spot. After a massacre in December 1856, the ferry was reestablished in 1857 below Fall River Falls.
In memory of an unknown soldier who was buried here about 1870 on the old military road which ran from Fort Bidwell in Modoc County to Fort Crook in Shasta County.
In the mid-1800s, the Knock family put in a toll road, and this is the end of it coming up the Pitt River Canyon. The wagons would come across the top of this grade right here, and then they would come down this grade right here. There was a bridge going over the river, and then it went past the young people living here, up here and out through Big Eddy. After the wagons crossed the Pitt River, they would travel up this road into the Big Eddy area, being careful of the wild animals that were awaiting them at the time. Along the route was an area that used to have a large native settlement. You can find a lot of obsidian and different artifacts here. Down by the water, they have the bedrock grinding holes for grinding up their grains. And there were many native wars fought on these lands here over a small legume that grows under the white flowers of spring.
All right, so this right here is the original hanging tree, but they cut down the branch that they used before, and it's where they hung the people in Fort Crook. This Fort Crook runs from the river way down there all the way to the base of Shoulder Mountain, all the way back there. See, the branch looked like that, but it was way longer, so it could fit more people onto it. Yep.
Commemoration of Fort Crook, established on July 1st, 1857 by Louis George Crook, and command for the protection of the immigrants and settlers later occupied by Captain John W. Gardner and Captain McGregor. Like Conor McGregor. The fighter, yeah. Pink, you know what I'm saying? The boundaries of this fort were designed as 1 mile in every direction from the flagpole. This is originally the flagpole right here. My hanging rope right here. Yes. Nice. Where was I? Abandoned June 1st, 1869. Marked November 11th, 1934 by the Fort Crook Historical Society, Fall River Valley. On to the next one. In commemoration of Captain Dick and Continue. Does this guy care about the pronunciation?
Continue.
Okay. And Richard Pugh? Mr. Peeve. He peed himself in the bed. The 1850s saw tension and turmoil between the early settlers and the native people of the Fall River Valley. Richard P., a native of Wales. Dude, Richard P. is from Wales. Huh. That's kind of cool.
An Irishman.
Yeah, was chosen by Lieutenant George Crook to be his guide when he and his company were sent to Fall River Valley in 1857. In October 1857, Lieutenant Crook was transferred to the Klamath area in Northern California. He asked his guide Dick P. to remain in the Fall River Valley and help to complete the building of Fort Crook. Richard P. remained in the valley for the rest of his life. He and his wife adopted an Indian boy and reared him at the age of 16. This young man, known as Captain Dick, became the leader of the Achimawis. Under the leadership, peace was maintained in the Fall River Valley, and requests for assistance from their other tribes, including the Modocs. I hate Modoc. For their long war were declined. Captain Dick died at the age of 34. 300 persons attended his funeral. His place of the burial is about 2 miles east of the monument, at the far end of Cretin Drive. Richard Pugh died at Fort Crook and was buried there the year that the fort was abandoned. All graves were transferred to other places, but less than half had markers. His is one of the unknowns. Additional information is available at the Fort Cook Museum. Miss Dobson has a dead natives under her house. It's haunted.
Yes. All right. So this whole place out in Glenburn used to be called Burgettville by a guy named
Baguetteville, dude.
not Baguette.
No,
Burgett.
Baguetteville.
I don't remember his first name, but Sir Burgett. And it used to also be Native Reservation, not resolution. And God.
Come on, keep talking.
All right, and Chief Dick here, him and Captain Crook, or whatever his name was, signed a treaty saying that all this native land would stay native land forever after Chief Dick died. But when Chief Dick died, a bunch of his stuff got burnt, including him, and including that contract. So now it's Glenburn, but that could have been all different if that one little document didn't get burnt. This could all be native land. Yep.
Woo! Our fellow man,
All right,
Blake
continuing on that. So there used to be over by the ferry. We'll be there in a second. Don't worry. Over by that ferry, whatever, the natives and the white folk used to live peacefully among each other. But they used to no, but they started to get in fights and whatnot, and they ended up not being friends after a while because they were chasing tail. Continuing, they basically wanted them Achimawi women, and the white folk were getting a little jealous. You know, they were out by themselves, 3 years by themselves with their sheep. Man, everyone looked like a 10, so they were getting a little jealous that the natives were getting all the women.
they got bored about the
So
sheep.
they started shooting them and killing them. There's even a story that 3 native folk died from some white folk because the natives took their women. So the white folk went and killed those natives.
Pablo, de aquí está la casa de la Knock family and farm. This area was once closed. Wait, excuse me, hey, leave my cameraman alone. Leave him alone. Okay, so this area here was once part of the Knock family farm, established in the 1870s. Right about here. According to this local residents, the farm contained a barn and a stockyard in the early 1900s. Albert Royce leased land from the Knocks to run the Farm Meat Packing Company. So they were packing meat, so much meat, big amounts of meat, little meat, all of it. They were all packing it out and selling that stuff. Sorry about that. Back to this. On this parcel stood the company's offal factory, referred to by the locals as the Crook. That's the cook. Alright. Sorry about the altercation. I took care of it. On this parcel, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. He was a little bit of a fighter. He ain't a biter. On this parcel stood the company's offal office. Oval. I don't know how to pronounce that. Factory referred to by the locals as the cooker. The cooker used for processing waste. So you know there was a bunch of Alright, take care of it. It's a damn river now. Let's go to the dam. Pacific Gas and Electric Company bought this land in the early 1920s. So you know, pretty much PG&E. That's what the Pacific Gas and Electric Company is. Just like, you know, PG&E is shorter. They bought the land in the early 1920s, but the meat company, you know what I'm saying, where they pack all the meat packers, they be packing meat. In the 1920s, but the meat company in its Offal Offutt factory continued in use. The factory manager lived in a small house just above the factory. Archaeologists have identified evidence of a house, platform, garden, and privy in this area. So, you know, right there, there's the foundation. Right about there, that's where they're packing all their meat.
Foundations.
Foundations.
Foundations right there.
Oh.
Some more foundations right there.
If you look, I don't know if you can tell, but over there on those rocks over there, that little guy that was attacking earlier is somewhere in that river down there.
Yep. Also, back there used to be a ferry, Lockhart's Ferry, you know? And just right above, over there, whoop, oh, over there, that way, there was a Lockhart's Ferry. That's where they took and then built a ferry, and that's how they get back and forth back then.
So you know William Winter was the original founder of Fall River Mills. He was the one who actually named it. He was like the first business guy in the area. Yeah. You folks may already know this, so he was like the first business guy, and he actually had the first home in the area that had running water. He had a big wheel out front of his house, and that's what would actually pump the water up into the attic, and then through a gravity-fed system would actually go down through the house. And he built a mill. He built the flour mill, and it burned down. And then he built it again, and it burned down. And then the Louis, who was the fellas? Louis and
Clark?
No. Anyways, three brothers, Ernst, Louis, and someone else. They bought the mill again, and then they rebuilt it. It burned down again. So anyway, it went through this whole series until the Stoltenbergs, who Betty Stoltenberg is actually on our board. The Stoltenbergs actually purchased that mill, and then from like in the 1960s, I think they did, and they had it all the way up until it burned down in 2006.
Something like that. It's
2003.
You can see it on the display over there.
No, I think it was close to 2006.
Was it? Okay. Yeah, it was like graduation night or something. I think 2000.
Yeah.
And people just kind of moved into the area. As far as Fort Crook goes, originally there was a fellow there by the name, his last name was Kibbe, Kibbe, and he was actually the first fellow that was there at the fort that kind of ran things. And then they actually moved him, the government moved him and stationed him somewhere else, and that's when Crook took over and they renamed it Fort Crook.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
We can go this way. Have to go cut wood for the fire, the wood stove. And one of the last thing you want to do these days is when a kid get in trouble, give them an axe. Like that model right there. And there was a fire, and they just built it. Didn't damage, didn't destroy it. It just ruined the top floor, so we did it that way.
So an old wood stove.
Yeah.
So why do they have desks, but they also have benches?
Well, these were school.
Oh, okay.
These were old church benches.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a desk. Kind of a mixture of UVA there.
Yeah.
Looking here.
It's original school bell. Bing bing.
Stealing jobs, ditch fighting pictures. Leaving a paper trail.
If you want to see here's your bathroom. That's all you need.
So you said this was the last building on Fort Crook?
Very last building of Fort Crook. Oh yeah, we have a few neighborhood cats around here. And again, covered up, you can't see it too well, but
That's okay.
it's actually 2 stories. If you wanna go upstairs. We usually lock the bathroom guests when they live in there. But, if you wanna go upstairs, you can.
Where's upstairs?
Flashlight, head up. Flashlight, head up. Flint lock, right?
Oh. Where's the upstairs?
Watch your step.
Okay, so we'll put a lot more people in this down there.
Here's actually how they made the bunks. They just, you see how they did that with tanks and holes?
Yeah. It wasn't bulging nothing, it was squeezing pieces
Yeah.
of wood into each other.
And take them apart, sew them together, put on back horse. Yeah.
This is cool. You feel a lot more people in here than you expect, huh?
Yeah.